All right, so if you guys can say and spell first and last name for the record, please.
Cool. I'm Adam Lazarra. That's ADAMLAZZARA.
And I'm Shaun Cooper, ShaunCooper.
Okay, so first off, tell me what's going on here tonight, how you guys are feeling about the show coming up, what we're doing here.
Well, we are two members of the band Taking Back Sunday, and tonight we're sitting in a place called the Cup, which is in Wantagh, and we're going to be playing right down the street in Mulcahy's. They renovated the place. I love what they've done with it.
It looks amazing.
Yeah, and then so we have a show there, sold out this evening, and we played last night, and it went fantastic. So we're just looking forward to another fun night.
Yeah.
So, should we be addressing you or sorry?
If
Or
you
they?
can look at me, that
Oh,
would be great.
okay,
If you
cool,
look
yeah.
That way, that's fine too.
I was kind of like, do I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're good. So I guess talk to me, when's the last time that you guys were here or out in general doing concerts?
Well, we've been fortunate because for us, like the last time we were doing shows, we did a short run in September and another short run in October with Jimmy Eat World, and that was both kind of in the Midwest and in September, and then on the West Coast in October, and those were really our first shows back. Prior to that, we did one show in Florida because they just do different.
Well, it was also, we had a break in COVID back in June and stuff, which was
Yeah.
nice. I'm like, hey, we're all done. And then Delta surged and ruined everything.
Yeah. So it's been nice, before the cameras were on, we were saying like there's one of the things is just in all these years, like I like to think that we're like a pretty hardworking band, and we're constantly playing or recording or writing, and then to have everything just be put on hold, you kind of I just realized there's so much of my own identity kind of wrapped up in what we do, and then that was just kind of not taken away, but it just wasn't there for that long. So it like takes a little while to kind of get your sea legs back, like I was saying earlier. But it's been great. You walk on that stage and it's like no time's passed at all.
Same thing for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, when we played that show in Florida, the first thing Adam said during soundcheck, this feels so normal. It's like we didn't forget how to do it. We've done it so many times over the last 20 plus years. So it's way more normal to be up on that stage doing the work than it is to sit on our couch for 2 years.
Yeah.
So it felt like, we got a big piece of ourselves back.
Were you guys able to work on anything, like over Zoom connecting, or how did you do that with such a big break?
Well, for us, like all the panic and everything aside during the break of like, oh my God, are we ever going to be able to do this thing we're so fortunate to be able to do again? We all live in separate places, so there were some ideas that we were kind of like, we'd record at the house and email them around, and then, but nothing really takes the place of or is as great as just us being able to be in a room doing the thing. So, but we started just doing like this Zoom call every week that we put out. We called it Talking Back Sunday because we're hilarious. and we did that I think that helped us to feel less of a disconnect. And so that was nice. But it was a rough substitute for actually being able to plug everything in. Like I even remember like the first show back, just hearing the drums or the guitar through an amplifier, that loud. It's like, oh yeah, there it is. That's how it feels. It's like a warm blanket.
Yeah. And also like with the writing and stuff and trying to do it remotely, the band since its inception was a bunch of dudes in a room working on songs and bouncing ideas off of each other in real time. So when you can't do it exactly in real time, it just doesn't work that way with us. Other bands might be able to do it, but like we're greater than the sum of our parts when we're together.
Yeah.
And what about even just being in front of a crowd again? And I feel like the energy from the crowd must just make it 10 times better when you are playing music. Like you want somebody to be able to enjoy it.
Oh, sure. That's like a big, like I always had this joke that I realized wasn't really a joke at all. We had a certain degree of, or like it's like our therapy, like in a way, because we can go out there and like there's kind of this like big cathartic thing that happens, when you're in a room full of people and experiencing that together. So that was a big thing that was missed, and which is what was so great, to be able to do these shows just on Long Island, where the band started with these, because that energy, you can't. There's nothing else like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in terms of being able to play Mulcahy's, a Long Island band, which does mean a Long Island venue, which does mean so much to the band. For you guys, is it special to play on Long Island?
Oh yes, it's always special for us to be able to play on Long Island, because we, this is where, like, if it wasn't for the people and just the scene that we had here, we wouldn't be the luckiest guys that I know that we are right now. Like, actually in the Cup where we're sitting right now, there's some songs off our first record. We used to come, they had an open mic night here, and then I was making a joke on stage last night of just, we were talking about, we have a song called Timberwolves at New Jersey, and like the first time I ever heard that song, John played it here, and then so it's just really amazing, for us to be able to be back here. I was also telling this story. I never got to go to Mulcahy's when we lived here because I was too young to get in. And most places, John could pass his ID back to me, not to kids. Don't try it. And then, but here was one of the places where we couldn't get away with that. So I always wondered what it was like.
I
in
got
there.
busted for that too.
Yeah.
I had a chalked ID, and they scanned it, and they're like, "Dude, you're not of age. Get the hell out of here."
You're like,
I had to
so
go to
close.
a different place, and then my buddy bought me wings all night because he felt bad. It turned out to be an okay.
Yeah. It sounds like it turned out great.
It did.
So coming back here as professionals then and playing on the stage, it must be a little bit different than waiting in line trying to get in.
Oh yes.
And also, like what Adam was saying too, we started with the most humble of beginnings. Like, we couldn't even get our friends to come out to shows at first.
Yeah.
And then we recorded our first 5-song demo, and then our friends started singing along. But there'd be 5 of them coming out on a Wednesday night or something. And then last night we had 1,600 plus sold out at Mulcahy's. Like, that's an amazing thing that 20 plus years into the band, we can still do that, and that's spectacular because this was the dream. We didn't think we'd ever get here. Like, we wanted to try our damnedest, but we didn't. I mean, I personally didn't believe it would ever work out. I'm like, I don't know anyone who plays in a band.
Yeah.
Who does it for a career for 20 plus years? No, get out of here. That's a pipe dream. Hey, we'll do this for a little while and then go back to school and do something real.
Yeah, it's like, even with that whole thing, that's why I think we're the luckiest people that I know, because this is like the thing we were chasing, and Long Island is where we started chasing that. So
Absolutely.
it's like, it's just a real special thing too. Like, having like Stray Light Run on the shows, like, I feel like that's a huge thing too, because it's really, when you're younger and like you hear the cliches like time heals all wounds, or just give it some time. Well, like, now we have like the benefit of seeing just like how strong and healing time can be. So that's pretty great. Like,
Absolutely.
like there's like a living, breathing example of it, like right there for us.
Before you guys were Taking Back Sunday and like had the name and the fame and all of that, and you thought about what it would be like, is it what you thought it would be?
Well, I don't have a helicopter, so no.
Yeah, we thought
No.
helicopters
No
for
kid-
sure.
yeah.
For sure.
Well, because we heard Billy Joel had one, like how like he like leaves from the garden, and it's actually better than I thought it would be, because there's this to be able to wake up in the morning and then go and play these songs that we've written, or like to be in a studio working on things that you pull out of nowhere. I mean, that's like Shaun was saying, that's the dream, and we are fortunate enough to be able to do that, and it's quite unbelievable. So.
Do you guys still feel like you have a little bit of your anonymity, like you can do something in your personal lives, or do you feel like you're getting bombarded by fans?
Especially as a bass player, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. There's none of that. Like, one of the things I'm most proud of within the band, and I think for all of us, it's that people who found our band and spent time with us, like, I feel like we've all gotten to grow up together, so it just feels more like just like a friendship almost, because it's how it started, and that's just how it's always felt, and I think we're very lucky to be able to experience that.
Are there any Long Island bands that were extremely influential to you guys? I mean, or maybe still influential to you guys in your sound?
Oh yeah, there's Tiffany.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I was trying to make you laugh.
Yeah, that was good. I like Tiffany a lot.
Oh, okay.
But I listen to Blue Oyster Cult to this day, and the Twisted Sister hits. Like, I went to the same high school as Dee Schneider. Like,
oh yeah,
these guys made it. They made it out of
that.
here. It's incredible. Yeah, he came. He was the Partridge in a Pear Tree at one of the holiday concerts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he sang it like with his very Long Island accent. And a partridge in a pear tree. And then one time he went, "I want to rock," and tore down the house with that. Everyone was in stitches.
That's
It
amazing.
was so cool. It's probably about 96, 97.
Yeah. Man, for me, like 'cause I'm from North Carolina, so I moved to join the band, and so for me, like it was like seeing bands like Silent Majority and Glassjaw and bands like that. They would come down to North Carolina and play, and I would see them, and you could tell they were all friends with one another, and I just thought that it was just the coolest thing that I'd ever seen, and I wanted to be a part of it so bad. So then now to be able to look back and be like, oh man, I get to be a part of that. That's crazy.
Well, it was such a great community that, like, it's not just the influence on it. Like, we wouldn't be a band without that scene having started and like drifted down to Charlotte or in North Carolina. Like, for some reason, that was like the back and forth route. Like, New York, North Carolina. I don't know why that happened, but we wouldn't be a band without it. So yeah, it's so important to the band just being.
Yeah.
Does that make you think like everything happens for a reason, kind of thing?
I guess so. Yeah, like it's like funny when you're, like hard to see the forest through the trees type thing. So like when you're in it, you don't really realize it. And I would hate to be like selfish and think like, oh, well, like those bands were around, so we could be a band, But it's
they showed us the way.
Yeah.
They paved the road,
Yeah, like and just so just being able to, or like just being able to be a part of that's real great.
With COVID kind of, opening up, at least being able to play some shows, it's obviously not totally normal, but what's on the horizon for you guys? Like, what are you most looking forward to getting back out there?
Well, for us, I mean, we're just happy to be playing. Like I was saying earlier, it's a lot, like it's a very cathartic thing for us, and so we're happy to be playing. But we there's a studio that we found here on Long Island that we've been doing a lot of writing at. So we'll be working on new songs there, and in between doing that and making a new record, we'll be just playing shows, which will just feel nice, like we always make the joke of like, oh, it's like I don't just get snacks and do laundry, and like there is like I do have a job kind of.
Yeah, we need it all.
Yeah.
I'm
So.
gonna let you jump in if you have anything, because I do want to pull up the social media questions.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, yeah.
I had asked social media just for some questions and got some good ones. First of all, somebody asked, what did you do over COVID break? I know we got into it a little bit, but I do want to touch more on that.
For me during COVID break, well, like we were homeschooling, and then like any little bit of free time that I would have, really, I was just diving deeper and deeper into the world of studio and recording gear. So I feel like I learned. I probably shoved about like certain things that would have taken me about 3 or 4 years to learn. I think I shoved it all into that time. So I'm happy about that.
And it shows
looking
when
back.
in the studio, he knows how to work that stuff. That's beyond my comprehension.
It's there. Yeah, you just turn it like that. And then, Shaun, what about you?
I swung around some kettlebells and stuff and tried to keep the kids from going nuts and stuff. But, we had a pretty decent time. But, yeah, it was just scary thinking our jobs might be over forever. So, yeah, that's about it. It went on for far too long.
Yeah, sure did.
How has being from Long Island impacted their career?
Well, I mean, it started our career like we were saying earlier. Like if it wasn't for the bands that had started on Long Island and showed us the way, we couldn't have done what we did. And I mean, just music was such a great hotbed. Like, Adam didn't grow up here, but for me, there was like a lot of access to great music teachers. Like, New World Music in Baldwin is where I took all my lessons on like every instrument, and great programs in the schools and everything. So like football is kind of big here, but it's not like it is in Texas and stuff. But we had basements to practice our instruments, and very kind parents that let us do that from like second or third grade. I was doing that with Mark, our drummer, like just bashing on stuff and making a horrendous racket. But like that was like the influence right there, having these parents that had the time and energy to afford lessons and to have the basements and to put up with and tolerate all that was pretty awesome. So all that got us to where we are. Because I mean, man, I saw Guns N' Roses become a band, and I was like, that's what I want to do. How do I do that? And my parents were able to really help with that. So that was a really special thing that I think Long Island was privy to. A lot of great musicians, just, who you don't know their names. They're the music teachers. They're in the schools, private schools, and all over. So that's why it's so great.
It's the opportunity to cultivate the skill.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's something that I noticed too, like just not, or like moving here from another place, I always thought the Strong Island thing was like, oh, that's fun. That's like a fun thing to say. But the thing is, like, I think you have to be a certain kind of strong and resilient person to even to live here, you know, because you think about like the roads are hard on your car. If you're trying to do like basic like DMV stuff, really difficult.
Yeah.
And then so like even like going to the grocery store, or like certain times of the day, just even going to the next town, could be this whole ordeal. And I just think that there's like I think that it ingrains in people just this, like, you just have to be a strong and resilient person, I think, to survive here. And I think that's something that I think that's one of the ways that we've made it through the ups and downs of this band, is that taking some of that way of thinking and then applying it to what we do like throughout our career, like I think that's a big thing. Because I was just thinking that because we were coming, like we stayed in the city the other night and we were like driving out here, and it took us on the Cross Island Parkway, which is like a nightmare. Yeah. And then like just took forever, and I'm just thinking like, man, like this is like it just takes it takes a lot. Yeah, or just coming from like a slower place, Yeah,
it's not easy. Like, and you have to learn how to coexist with a whole lot of different people, whether you're on the Long Island Railroad and you're, shoulder to shoulder with people and stuff. Like, you gotta be pretty cool to get along with that and driving in the traffic, and you gotta really learn how to tolerate a lot. So I think like that's why and people are jerks everywhere, but I feel like there's a certain niceness and a certain understanding a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. You're going to remember the bad experiences, but like a lot. Like, my neighborhood, I was cleaning off my windshield and talked to like 3 of my neighbors, just a random morning and stuff. I was just like, this is so nice. Like, got a good place here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like appreciate the other Long Islanders.
Yeah.
Do you feel like a New Yorker now?
I tried really. When I first moved up when I was younger, I remember, like, because I waited tables, or like I delivered food at a deli. So I would like put on this like fake New York accent because I didn't want anybody to give me a hard time about the drawl that I have. And like I wanted to be a part of it so bad. But now after all these years and spending so much time up here, I think I wouldn't I would still like to be a New Yorker, but I can hang with them. I can hang with the best of them.
Absolutely, yeah. Undoubtedly.
See what else I have here. Ooh, this one. Did they ever take back Sunday?
They've been trying to take Sunday away. They've been trying to take it back.
There's been a war.
Yeah. And it's been raging underground. I mean, that's why you don't see it like on the headlines of the papers or anything. But they've been trying, and we're but soldiers.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Are mics for singing or swinging?
They're for both. There's this thing like for like a while in the band, I like think I was known more for like at our live shows throwing the microphone around. Reason I started doing that was because I didn't know what else to do with my body or my hands. You know, I don't have an instrument to hide behind or nothing, which I used to have, and so that when so I just started throwing the thing around, and then once I started to notice that like people were latching onto that or talking about that more than like the singing, that's when I think that helped to push to work on my singing and like the technical side of that. So hopefully they would start to pay more attention to that rather than the on stage antics. Though they are fun. It's just fun getting lost, and I'm so happy that we get to do that with a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
Ask if they remain close to any other of their bands on Long Island and so forth.
With life gets very busy, and so we're not as close to the other bands on Long Island as we once were, or we would like to be, you know, because they have their lives going on, we have ours, but it's always nice to see some folks, you know, like Sal from the Sleeping. He has that place Za, which is really great, and then opening these shows, there's Sam and his band Playing Dead, and then so there's times to where we get to catch up, and those are always fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
Did you want anything else?
No, I think we definitely.
Thank you, guys.
Excellent. Thanks so much.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I know, I did.
3, 2. Fast forward 20 years, and now the band is playing that song and so many others right down the street at 2 sold-out shows at Mulcahy's.
Dominic,
How do you spell it?
Dominick.
And last name?
Bianco, Bianco.
All right, Dominic, tell me what you're doing out here tonight and why you came.
I'm here to see Taking Back Sunday, my favorite band. I've been following them for so long now. This is my 16th or 17th time seeing them.
Wow.
Yeah.
And all across Long Island, or you go everywhere for them?
Mainly on Long Island. I've seen them in Jersey and a couple times as well, but usually Long Island or the city, New York shows.
Why do you love them so much?
I don't know, it's hard to explain. They have just such a great energy. It's great music. Just everything about them is just all there. They know what they're doing. They just strike every nerve that you want.
How long have you been following the band?
I want to say at least 20 years now.
So really, back when they started.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a little bit late to the game. I wasn't there at their origination, but I was right after that. So.
And I assume you're from Long Island.
Yes.
So to have another band that is, or to have a band that's from Long Island, what does that mean?
It's great. It's always a wonderful feeling, seeing them perform a hometown show. It just makes me feel at home when I'm watching them perform on Long Island and doing a small, an intimate show like this at Mulcahy's. Not a lot of bands do that anymore, so.
Yeah, that's true. And they seem very much, we just interviewed them, they seem like very down-to-earth guys, which is really cool.
That's
Yeah. And, wait for that. Did you come last night?
I did not come last night. No, I was only able to get tickets for tonight. So.
Yeah, I know, sold out shows.
It went fast. I was trying, even getting tickets for tonight was such a hard time. I had to keep refreshing, trying to get tickets because they sold out in 2 minutes. So.
What are you most looking forward to tonight? And maybe a song, something like that?
Just looking forward to seeing them again. It's been so long since I've been able to see them. We're finally getting to see concerts again. It's so nice to have them back. No song in particular, honestly, just everything. I've seen them so many times now, so it's everything is great to hear. I'm hoping to see something some new songs that maybe we'll get some surprises.
Hey, we'll see what they did with COVID, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to grab a quick 2-shot for me? Thank you. And did you say you have a favorite song by them or no?
It constantly changes. It's been back and forth. Right now, I would say it's Home and Garden, Better Home and Garden.
And when's the last time you went to a show for them?
I want to say 2017 or 2018.
Yeah, so it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a few years now.